So guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I have a good one for you. Today's video, I am going to be telling you about the newest content creation powerhouse from Insta360. Guys, this is the Insta360 ACE Pro 2. And look, this little thing brings a lot in this super small premium package. In fact, I say premium because this camera can shoot in 8K. I mean, have you ever heard of such a thing? This little thing can shoot with 8K clarity. Now, obviously, there are a lot of specs that go into this camera, so let's start digging into it. The Insta360 ACE Pro 2 has a 1/1.13 inch 8K sensor. Okay, so the maximum resolution that you can shoot is 8K at 30 frames a second. And we'll talk more about the usefulness of 8K later in the video. And the ACE Pro 2 is now housing a dual AI chip. So basically, Insta360 has separated the workloads of two chips, and that has resulted in 100% increase in processing power. So that means everything is going to work quicker from powering on. It's going to lead to an improvement in image processing, dynamic range, and my favorite, low light processing. I'll tell you right now, this thing is a master of low light shooting.
One of my favorite things about the Insta360 ACE Pro 2 is the pure video mode. That's the low light mode. And thanks to that dual AI chip, the camera is able to process low light settings so much better. And right now it looks pretty light to you on camera, but it is much darker than it looks on camera, and a lot of other action cameras would be totally useless in this situation. So what that has done, it's made me be able to use the ACE Pro 2 a lot more often and at a lot more times of the day and situations than I would be able to use other action cameras. Oh, by the way, how does this sound? Right now the sound is coming directly from the camera. I have voice enhancement mode turned on, and there's a lot of traffic like coming at me from the other direction. You can probably see the cars going by. But the audio quality has been just vastly improved, and again, it makes the ACE Pro 2 such a well-rounded camera. I just can't believe how good this looks. Man, the image is beautiful in low light. I'm telling you, the pure video setting in the ACE Pro 2 has given me an extra several hours a day that I'm able to use this camera outside in like the low light. Now, of course, if there's any street lights, that's also going to light it up well enough to use. But right now, this sunrise is gorgeous in pure video mode. Oh, by the way, I am going to do a full audio check in just a second, so hold on.
The Insta360 ACE Pro 2 is co-engineered with Leica. This is a Leica lens right on the front, and you can choose from several Leica color profiles. Now, this Leica lens right on the front is fully removable. So if you dropped it and scratched it, you can take it off, throw this one away, and buy a new one. Insta360 has expanded the field of view in the ACE Pro 2 to 157 degrees. It was 151 degrees in the first ACE Pro. Now, something that separates the ACE Pro 2 from other action cameras on the market is this. We now have a 2.5-inch rotating touchscreen, and this is going to make positioning yourself in the camera super easy when you're out there vlogging. Now, the screen is bigger than on the ACE Pro, and it's brighter. The screen on the ACE Pro 2 is now 900 nits, so you are going to see this with no problem in bright daylight. Another huge feature is right here. The ACE Pro 2 now features a removable wind guard. So on most action cameras, you have several mics around the camera, and the ACE Pro 2 is no exception. We have one on the front, there's another one here on the top, but when you're vlogging, the sound is coming from the front, and a lot of time that leads to a lot of wind noise. But with this removable wind guard that's actually built in, you're going to be getting the clearest audio. Now, it is removable, so if you want to take the camera swimming, or you're just going to be getting it wet, you can just take off the wind guard and replace it with another cover that's included in the box that I have actually misplaced, and you're good to go. Now, you could also just leave this wind guard on and go for a swim, like it's only a piece of foam behind this vent. You should probably just take it off to dry off when you're done. The ACE Pro 2 also features an underwater mode, and I found out the hard way because I used it without putting it in the underwater mode, and the water actually acts like little fingers all over the screen, and it starts messing with the settings when you're underwater. But when you put it in underwater mode, it locks the screen so your settings aren't going to get messed up. When it's in underwater mode, it also corrects for distortion and the color profile, and that is a fantastic feature because a lot of you are going to be taking the ACE Pro 2 to the beach, to the pool, and it's going to be getting wet. Oh, it is waterproof to 39 feet or 12 meters, and Insta360 does sell a dive case, and when it's in the dive case, you can take this down to 60 meters. The ACE Pro 2 does come with larger batteries. Now, the batteries from your ACE Pro will fit the ACE Pro 2, but the ACE Pro 2 now has 1800 milliamp hour batteries, and those big batteries are going to extend the runtime up to a max of 180 minutes. Now, that 180 minutes comes courtesy of endurance mode, and endurance mode is a way to extend the battery life. And basically, you can shoot in 4K 30, but it limits some of the features like wind reduction and stabilization. So this is going to work in the type of situation where the camera is stationary. So think vlogging style videos. Now, while we're talking about vlogging, when you're vlogging, you want excellent sound, and you can get fantastic sound directly from the ACE Pro 2. But if you wanted to pair an external microphone, you can. Now, you can pair a single microphone via Bluetooth, or there is a a USB-C port on the side, and you can just plug in that mic adapter, and you could plug in a wireless receiver and connect 2 mics to the receiver. Oh, I totally forgot about the batteries, but there is a fast charging mode, and you can charge the batteries to 80% in only 18 minutes. Okay, so one of my favorite things about the Insta360 ACE Pro 2 is the mounting system on the bottom. Because look at this, it's very flat, but it's got an area where you can just click on a quick release mount. So I have one of these quick release mounts right on top of this selfie stick, and you saw how easy that went on. It's actually attached by a magnet and a mechanical connection, so it's really not going anywhere. Then look, if I need to vlog, I can just pull out this selfie stick and I can be talking to the camera. But then when I want to do something else with the camera, it's easy for me to just take this off the selfie stick just like that, and then come over here to one of my favorite mounts right here, the suction cup mount, and I have another one of those quick release things that stick on the bottom. So then all I have to do is put that in place, and now I can switch right over and I can get a driving vlog. Now I really think having the camera mounted in different areas where I can actually drive and pay attention and still vlog is really handy. But I suppose this is also going to be an excellent way to test the audio. So this is the audio in a controlled environment. I'm inside a car, there's no wind. How does this sound? Why don't we test the camera in another location? Now, how is that? The camera is a little further away from me this time. Is the sound still just as good? The audio quality on the ACE Pro 2 is just top notch, but let's make one more change and move the camera just a little bit further away still. Now the camera is on the other side of the car from me. How does this sound? Realistically, the camera is only like 4 feet, 3.5 feet away from me, so it should still sound pretty good. I also want to know how it sounds when we add a little bit of wind in. So we have 2 options for wind reduction. We have the wind reduction mode, and that's going to minimize wind noise when you're outside doing outside things. Think if you're riding a motorcycle or you're bombing downhill skiing. Then we have voice enhancement mode, and voice enhancement mode is supposed to enhance your voice in windy conditions. So that's what I'm going to use when I'm out running, but I just don't think running is a good test of the wind reduction mode. So let's do a test of that right now. Alright, how does this sound? We're now driving at 30 miles an hour. How does the wind reduction actually work? Is it releasing the wind? What do I sound like? Okay, same test conditions. How does this sound? Is it picking up my voice? I am traveling at about 30 miles an hour, and I have voice enhancement. Okay, so now I am going to mount the camera to the outside of my car. I'm going to connect an external microphone, and then I'm going to drive, and I'm going to see if it picks up my voice and see if we can capture like a fun shot where the normal microphone on the front of the ACE Pro 2 wouldn't actually pick us up. I'm not sure how good of a test this is going to be. There is a lot of glare on my windscreen, but we'll still give it a go. All right, time to get out of here, test that ACE Pro 2 on the front of the car. Come on. All right, guys, now we're cruising. How does this sound? Like, can you even see me? If I'm waving like this, can you see me? So I guess this is kind of an interesting shot, isn't it? So you can really mount the camera anywhere, then you can just connect the external microphone and you can get some really fun shots. All right, I'm back in the studio. I have the ACE Pro 2 right here, and I also have this. This is the mic adapter. It's got a little USB, and basically I just have to plug that in to the ACE Pro 2. And I'm going to lift up the door, the charging door, and the door covering the SD card, and I'm just going to pull that right off. I mean, it's made to come off. Then I am going to take this and I'm just going to plug it right where it's supposed to go, and it clicks right into place. Now I have a USB-C on the outside and a 3.5mm jack right there. But there is nowhere to mount a microphone or a receiver on the ACE Pro 2 on the body itself, so I need this. This is the utility frame. So let me just open this up, slide the camera inside. Now I have a couple different options in order to mount whatever I want to mount. I have a cold shoe on the top and a cold shoe here on the side. So right now I do have the DJI mic, and it looks something like that. How does it sound now that I've got the wireless receiver plugged into the ACE Pro 2 with the microphone this close to me? You could just as easily connect a shotgun mic, and I don't know if you can see it, but right on the top, when you plug in a mic, you're going to see the sound bar on the top. So we're going to know that we're getting sound and it's not clipped. If your sound is clipped, you can just go in and adjust that in the settings. But now we have a shotgun mic right on top of our ACE Pro 2. How does this sound? Is this any better than the mic connected by the wireless receiver and the mic clipped to my shirt? Let me know in the comments. Now look, this is a setup that I'm never going to use, or at least it's very unlikely. But my point is that the ACE Pro 2 doubles as an excellent vlogging camera, and you can make it as simple or as complicated as you like. Now there's a couple of features that I use all the time on the ACE Pro 2, and that is shooting in 4K up to 120 frames a second. Now I use this a lot because I do like to slow down my footage, and if you really like to slow down your footage, you can put it in 1080p and shoot up to 240 frames a second. But again, that's 1080p, and I've got to tell you, I've never used it. The ACE Pro 2 now supports HDR up to 4K 60. So before it was 4K 30, now you get to shoot in HDR up to 60 frames a second and then slow it down if you want.
Alright guys, this is going to be a great test of the HDR. Basically, the HDR mode is going to protect those shadows and keep the lights from being blown out. So you can see I got the sun right up here, I got the trees that are fairly dark, and the image is still super crisp. And if I want to slow it down, I can. It's like this.
The Ace Pro 2 also features 4K clarity zoom. Now, this, in my opinion, is the best use of the 8K sensor. Now, 8K footage is all well and good. There are a lot of pixels. You're going to get supremely clear and crisp footage. But honestly, most of our editing software on our computers or our phones really can't deal with 8K. Like, it takes up a lot of space. And it's really only to be used in very bright situations. But this is where the 4K clarity zoom comes in, because you can shoot in beautifully crisp 4K. Then you can just double tap on the screen and it will zoom in 2 times without losing any of the 4K crispness. And that is strictly because of this 8K sensor. It is a very handy feature. Okay, the following features are just super handy as far as content creation goes. But you're able to pause and resume recording in the same file. So when you're taking a video, you will see that there is a pause button right on the bottom of the screen. And if you hit that pause button, you're able to pause your video, go about your business. Then when you're ready to resume filming, you can just hit that pause button again and the recording continues. It's magic. Now, you're also able to cancel a recording from when you're recording it and delete it right away. So let's say you press the record button and you realized it was in the wrong settings, or you just didn't want that recording. Well, it's as simple as pressing the top record button, holding it down, and then press the cancel record button, and that video file is gone without you having to go into the camera roll and manually delete it. Pretty handy, and I've used it more than I expected to. You can also add video files onto pre-recorded files, and this is really handy if you want to save space or you don't want so many video files. And to do this, you're going to access the camera roll by sliding from the right. We can see that's my last recorded video, but I can also see all the videos I have on the camera by pressing here. Now I just select the file that I want to add something onto. I hit this little stop button in the corner. It comes up with an option to continue recording. I hit continue, and just like that, when I press the shutter button, I am adding onto my pre-recorded footage. Of course, the Ace Pro 2 wouldn't be an action camera worth considering without image stabilization. And of course, it features flow state stabilization, which is absolutely epic. Like, it's going to smooth out all those jitters. It is seriously as good as anything available out there.
Now I want to show you some of the lens settings or field of view settings in the Ace Pro 2. Now the field of view settings are going to be on the right side of the screen, and you can see it right down here in the lower right hand corner. Right now it says action. If we open that up, you can see we have the different field of views. Now this Mega is a new field of view. It's super wide and there's no distortion. So this is going to be ideal for all those action shots. We've also got ultra wide, D-warp, linear, and this is what I wanted to show you. We have a 45-degree horizon lock and 360-degree horizon lock. So if I put it back on 45-degree horizon lock and I take the Ace Pro 2, and let's say I just can't hold my hand straight, so we're doing this. We're going back and forth like this, doing all kinds of crazy things. You can see now that the horizon is staying absolutely level, and that's going to work up to 45 degrees. Let me just change it to 360-degree horizon lock, and now, no matter what I do with the camera, the horizon is going to be staying completely level. This is super handy if you're doing sports that require you go upside down. I don't know, but I guess it's still pretty handy for all the sports. Now, a thing to remember is that when you do use the 45-degree or the 360-degree horizon lock, there is going to be a substantial crop in, but it's still pretty awesome.
The Ace Pro 2 does have a log video profile, so if you wanted to record in log, which would enable you to get the most out of your footage if you wanted to color grade it, you have that option here. Of course, I'll be perfectly honest, I never shoot in log. I find the color profiles already built in, including the Leica color profiles, are more than enough for me, and it saved me a lot of time in post-production. Oh, the Ace Pro 2 also shoots 50 megapixel photos. And really, I don't know who's using their action camera to shoot photos, but if you're into that, 50 megapixels is a lot of megapixels, and the photos have come out pretty well. The Ace Pro 2 does have a dash cam mode, and within the dash cam mode, it does have an auto power mode. So when the camera is connected to the car by USB, when you turn the car on, the camera also turns on. You can also allocate how much of your SD card you want to attribute to your dash cam footage, so you don't have to use it all just to record dash cam stuff. The pre-recording feature has also got a bump. You can now have 90 seconds of pre-recording shooting in 4K 30 and up to 120 seconds of pre-recording in 1080p. Oh, there's also the time coding option if you wanted to sync more than one camera. Again, my operation is pretty small and I will not be using that, but if you like to sync multiple cameras, you can do it with the time coding feature in the Ace Pro 2. With the Ace Pro 2, you can shoot time lapses or time shift, and basically the difference between time lapse and time shift is with time lapse, the camera is stationary, so you set it up and the camera does all the work, and then with time shift, the camera is on a moving object. So in this case, the camera is on the top of my car and the camera is still doing all the work, and you can capture some pretty epic shots. Now the Ace Pro 2 can capture star lapse. This is where you set the camera up, you point it at the sky, and you can get get those fantastic sky trails. Unfortunately, there is far too much light pollution in my area, so I'm not able to actually film one of those. The Ace Pro 2 does feature gesture control, so if you'd like to use that, you can hold up a hand to start recording, give the peace sign to take a photo, and it does have voice control, so you could say something simple like start recording, stop recording, and it'll get the job done. Look, I think the Insta360 ACE Pro 2 is definitely rugged enough to do all the adventurous activities that you want to do, right? At its heart, it's an action camera. But I found that the ACE Pro 2 is a super convenient vlogging camera too, like a lifestyle camera. It's small enough to put in my pocket. It is super handy having this huge 2.5-inch rotating touchscreen. And I think if you were getting started and you were just looking for a camera to do everything, I think the ACE Pro 2 would actually be a pretty good option. Look, as I said when I had that shotgun mic mounted to it, the ACE Pro 2 is rugged enough and versatile enough to use it in the most simple way, which is as the camera alone, just pressing record and shooting, or by including external audio, using the manual settings to dial in that image, shooting in log so you can really dig into the color grading after. Oh, and of course the ability to shoot in 8K is just second to none. I mean, outside of testing, I probably won't be using 8K, but the 4K clarity zoom is where it's at. So guys, now I want to hear from you. Are you looking to pick up an action camera? Are you thinking about getting the ACE Pro 2? Oh, and of course I will place an affiliate link in the show notes below in case you want to pick up an ACE Pro 2 for yourself. And of course, it doesn't cost you any more when you use my link. It does just help support the channel. So if there's anything else that you want to know about the Insta360 ACE Pro 2, just drop a comment and let me know. I've taken this camera everywhere with me now for a couple of months, and it's a great do-it-all camera. All right, be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.